Right. I think you're kind of then now kind of feeding in naturally here to the next question that I have for you, which is kind of on that responsible and ethical use of AI. And it seems like here from the discussions that even kids were having amongst themselves and with you that that was definitely something that was becoming kind of to the forefront of your mind. Do you have like examples of where this comes out that you could share with us here?
Yeah, I think one, I've told so many people about this because it was just a phenomenal learning opportunity for everybody in the room. But in this last example, or this last part of the lesson, I had an image of it was a female superhero flying over the earth.
Do you have that you could show us? Because
Yeah, let me pull that up.
let's just switch to that.
There we go. All right, so I provided, or I gave this image to, or I made this image on with the AI image generator, and then I put it into ChatGPT. So you can see it's some semblance of a female superhero flying above the earth, probably happy to some extent. And then I played the audio for them. They took notes, and they then, so during, while they listened, I played it 2 times just like the AP test does, right? So I'm still modeling what they're going to have to do on this assessment. They took notes, and then they took those notes and put them into their prompt in Spanish again. And I heard so many students in the classroom get like frustrated, like in a good way, but frustrated that the superheroes that they kept trying to make were all men. It's like Spanish is a gendered language, so our nouns and adjectives describing them, they're like feminine or masculine. So they're using these feminine nouns and feminine adjectives, and it's still producing a male superhero. And people are expressing like, why is it doing that? How can I, So speaking of bias, right? This was again a great organic opportunity to talk about this with the kids. Like, think about the training data. These images are produced based on what's given to them. And if we think historically how superheroes have been represented, there's a lot more men than there are women. So it makes sense that these tools would produce men more often than they would produce women, even if we're being very clear that it's a female superhero. So it was, again, like a way to talk about this in a safe environment, and it really just helped outline what biases are built into these tools and why we should always be asking these questions, right? Like, they ask that question and you just really applaud them for having that thought already, because this again was last spring, so pretty early.
And I find it kind of interesting too that the students themselves are noticing that there's a diversity issue, that there's an equity issue involved with kind of those large language models, even that inherently isn't, probably they're not trying to make it there, but it's still hidden between all those different layers. And as you were talking about it too, I think of an example that I've seen where someone asks ChatGPT or Canva or whatever it happens to be to generate an image of a doctor and two nurses. And inevitably, the doctor's always white male and the nurses are always female.
Yep, exactly. I think just this was such a good example, in my opinion, of that concept where, like, they're not thinking about what, if a superhero is male or female, but the fact that they're still asking those questions is a really good sign for our future, right?
Yeah, completely. I agree.